placing you under arrest.
I'm calling someone.
Get out of the car.
I am. You don't have to pull me. I'm getting out now.
Get out.
Stop it.
Aceli Lagervale and her 2 teenage daughters embarked on a long drive from Las Vegas to California's Berkeley City College in September 2019. They planned to arrive in time for Lagervale's older daughter to take a statistics exam the next day. After driving all night, they made a stop at a Starbucks parking lot in Castro Valley, California. Little did they know that this routine stop would turn into a nightmare. As they parked their car, a deputy from the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, Stephen Holland, approached their vehicle. He claimed to be investigating car break-ins in the area and requested to see Lagervale's identification.
What are you guys doing here?
Waiting to go to Starbucks in a second. Why? Is there a problem? We can't sit here.
Well, actually, let me tell you why I'm here. Okay? I've been having auto break-ins in this parking lot every morning around this time.
Thank you very much.
So I've been driving around here. Okay? And I noticed that you guys aren't doing nothing but hanging out.
Yeah, I just got in from Vegas.
Okay, well that.
This morning, I've been driving all night.
Okay.
This is a rental car from the Bay Area, from Oakland.
Okay.
Just because it's got Nevada plates, it's not a.
It's not a Nevada car.
No, I'm not Nevada.
Okay. You have your ID on you?
Yeah. Okay, so wait a minute. Now, why are you asking for my ID? You just explained to me about the break-in.
Right.
But why did you explain to me about my ID? What's that about? What did I do? What kind of crime did I commit?
What kind of crime did you commit?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
haven't.
Ask you for my ID.
Yeah, you have to give me your ID.
Why do I have to give you my ID?
Why?
I don't have to give you my ID because I haven't did anything. You started talking about a break-in.
Okay.
I thanked you for informing me that.
Right.
I informed you that I'm resting because I'm about to go into Starbucks, right? I informed you I've been driving all night, right?
Well, Starbucks has been open for about 2 hours.
It's actually been open since 5. I checked my GPS. Okay.
The laws regarding the requirement to provide identification to law enforcement officers can vary depending on the jurisdiction within the United States. In general, you are not legally obligated to provide identification to a law enforcement officer unless you are being detained or arrested. As you can see in this situation, she is not being detained or arrested, and she doesn't need to provide her ID. The right thing to ask this woman was her driver's license, which officers in the United States have the rights to check. Lagervale, feeling unjustly targeted, refused to comply, asserting that she had done nothing wrong and questioning why she was being questioned.
So you see this thing right here?
We're not doing anything.
So this is my camera. Everything's being recorded.
Exactly, and I'm not doing anything. That's what did you hear me tell my daughters? Start recording as well.
Yeah, that's fine. They can record all day.
Yep.
So are you going to refuse to give me your ID?
I am, because I haven't did anything.
So
we're being harassed for nothing. We're being harassed for nothing.
It's not harassment.
Yes, it is harassment. Yes, it is. I have not did anything that no one did.
Well, guess what? I'm not in any rush. I can hang out here till you want to give me your ID.
I'm not. I want you to call your sheriff. I want you to call me or call your superior, supervisor. I'm asking for a supervisor right now.
Well, hold on.
Call 911. Call 911.
What is going on here?
I'm gonna call the police.
One of her daughters wants to go to the restroom, but the officer refused, saying that it's either she goes with him to his car in handcuffs, or she stays in their car till they provide their ID.
Everyone in this car is detained. You can go back in the car and wait, or you can go in handcuffs and go in my car.
She's not gonna go. I said her just get in the car. We're not detained.
Yeah.
I'm calling the police right now.
Okay.
I'm calling the police.
Okay, they don't want to listen to us, so let's go ahead and detain these two.
No, you're not going to detain them. No, you're not going to detain them. We haven't did anything. We haven't did anything. We have not did anything.
Let's start the car. Get out of the car.
No.
Get out of the car.
I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
No, I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
I see it's rolled down.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
No, I'm not.
Get out of the car.
I haven't did anything. I'll get out. Just don't pull on me. I'll get out.
All right, get out of the car.
The encounter quickly escalated, and Lagervale and her daughters were forcefully detained and handcuffed. They were held back when Lagervale tried to walk toward the nearby Starbucks to use the restroom.
Don't worry. I don't have no weapons on me. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. You can't even answer me. Don't worry. We're going to go to the...
The body camera footage showed Deputy Holland questioning Lagervale's daughter for recording the interaction, to which Lagervale responded by stating her need for protection due to uncertainty about the situation. The Lagervales were never accused or charged with a crime, making their detainment even more unwarranted. The police report even indicated that the car theft suspects were men, not the Lagervale family. Despite this, the deputies persisted with their aggressive approach, leading to the unnecessary suffering of an innocent family.
Grab a seat.
Isn't that how things work, man?
No, what are you talking about? We haven't did anything.
The incident was captured on body camera footage, revealing the unjust treatment the family endured. The Lagervales filed a lawsuit against Alameda County, accusing the deputies of racial profiling, assault, battery, false arrest, and violation of their constitutional rights. The lawsuit highlighted the abrasions the family sustained during the incident. The attorneys representing the Lagervales argued that the deputies stopped them solely because they were black. In a remarkable turn of events, a California jury unanimously ruled against Deputy Stephen Holland and Monica Pope, finding their conduct unlawful. The jury awarded over $8 million in damages, considering the violation of the Lagervales' constitutional rights. The Lagervales' attorney emphasized that the California Bain Act allows juries to triple the amount of damages in cases involving constitutional rights violations, contributing to the substantial award. Fortunately for the officers, they received no punishment, but later got promoted by their department. Having achieved academic success despite the trauma they experienced, the memory of that fateful day will forever shape their perception of the criminal justice system. If you love stories like this, subscribe and turn on notifications for more contents like this. Thanks for watching.